Anglers of the Internet, welcome back to another Advanced Kayak Angler podcast brought to you by Fishing Online, fastest shipping on the Internet. I'm your host, Kurt Smits. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. Now let's get into it. Guys, it's another week, and it's another podcast. The Classic just happened recently. The Bassmaster Classic just happened, and coinciding with that, the Bassmaster Kayak Championship happens nearby the Classic, and those anglers get to walk across the Classic stage. And not all of us get to go visit that, so we got some people here to share their experiences of how the Classic works, what the Classic is. Let me bring them on. We got some great guys for you tonight. We got Shaun Boggs and Yoder and Kyler Branaum. How you guys doing?
We're good. Doing great.
Fantastic.
So the Classic, you guys just kind of, the Classic just, I don't want to say just wrapped up, but, it just happened like a week ago. I think a lot of people don't really understand what the Classic is. They know it's like a really big event. They know it's, one of the biggest tournaments out there, but it's also like a fishing extravaganza, right? I mean, there's like the people, the pros that don't make it into the Classic are working they call it the Expo.
The Expo. Yeah, Expo. Yep.
They're all working the Expo. So you have just a tremendous amount of fishing pros in one area.
They're walking around like they're just you or I, just walking around, and
you have a lot of access to the pros right there. The ones that didn't make it. Yeah.
And that's a lot. Let's face it, that's a lot. And I dare say this year there was a lot of, and I don't mean this in a negative way at all towards anyone who didn't make the Classic, but there was a lot of names that we would all know on a day-to-day basis that didn't make the Classic this year.
Yeah.
So, I think this year was one of the special years and opportunities to really get to know these guys because the Expo's huge.
And it wasn't just BASS anglers. There was Bass Pro guys there. There was anglers from all over, invitationals and on. So,
yeah.
As well as YouTubers and,
Oh, yeah. All the social media guys are there.
Yeah.
You see a ton of people.
A lot of kayak anglers. So it was a good time. Yeah.
Because they had the championship at the same time that the Classic was going on, not in the same lake, so there was no getting in the way of anybody.
Right.
But, it was happening at the same time. So there was a ton of kayak guys that could be there who did that event. So what'd you guys think of it, this year? It seemed like there was a lot of people. It seemed like there was a few newish products, kind of. I mean, it's all forward-facing stuff.
It is.
It was, from our perspective, I think it was eye-opening. I mean, the number of people that came over and had questions, it really made you feel good. Like people were really interested in learning, about, products and what's going on.
So people at home, Shaun and Dean work for Miller Tech batteries, and they were there at the Miller Tech booth. Kyler, what booth were you in?
I was in the Tackle Trap booth. It's a retailer out of Canastota, New York. Okay, we're a big Daiwa, and we're really kind of related with the big Daiwa booth. They kind of, help us out every year when we show up. But it was Daiwa and Megabass for us this year.
You guys were right behind us, I think, Tyler.
Yeah, it just right around the corner.
Yeah,
right around that corner.
Yeah,
right. We were kind of parallel to that big Yokohama booth.
Okay, we were going to be in that spot. That was our spot.
You should have been there. Should have been there. Should have been in that spot. I'll just say that. I'm not. No, it's no dig on Yokohama. You just kind of have to roll with the punches, and that's kind of part of the Classic. Like the way that we had our booth set up, we were like, okay, this is a prime spot. It's a prime transition area from that other room that you go into where Icon was at.
Yeah.
And but the Yokohama, they had that big truck, and it kind of blocked us off a little bit. And it just, that's part of the Classic. It happens. I mean, it's not something that I'm going to sit here and complain about, because it's, you know,
no,
it's not
even
a bad
though
thing
we
for
were
them.
kind of stuck in a corner ourselves back there, but we had a great show as far as even sales was concerned. So we felt like, we were kind of in a corner, but I feel it worked out very beneficial for us. So, you know,
we did really well at the Classic, and I'll say this is like, my favorite part about that being there was people walking by and be able to pick up products that you normally would never be able to pick up, like a Megabass P5 Destroyer. It's a $500 rod. No one's going to just buy one of those outright. They kind of want to feel it out and talk to people. And that's one of my favorite things, is being able to like test out stuff like that.
Absolutely.
And that's one of the things I think the Classic is about. It's not just the fishing. That's a big part of it. Fishing the tournament. It's you can put your hands on stuff that you're not going to see in your local stores for whatever the reason is. You know, whether it's expensive, whether it's something they just don't carry, whether it's something weird, right? So my question is, speaking of something weird, what was the most interesting new product you guys saw there that you may not think about?
The Strike King little cube things.
Oh yeah, the tumbleweed.
They had them all different shapes. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but like a lot of the shapes, it wasn't just a cube. There was some that were like, I mean,
they weren't symmetrical at all.
Yeah, they were kind of weird looking ones, but I mean, they had tons of them.
Yeah, that, and then Nomad Fishing came out with it's a forward-facing sonar deal, but you put like a little tube in, and you can actually put tungsten weights into the soft plastic.
Yeah.
You can add weights to the soft plastic, which I thought was very interesting.
That is pretty cool.
It's pretty cool. I'm kind of curious to see how like the longevity of that bait would be. You know, after you catch, 3 or 4, do those little tungsten balls fall out, and then you got to buy more? Like, that's kind of what I'm curious about.
You're buying.
If
you're cutting open a plastic bait and sticking stuff inside it, you're buying.
No, they have it's pre-inserted.
It's going to fall out. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Hand the money.
Oh, they were pre-inserted? You mean it's not like a little?
No, you don't have to cut anything.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a little cavity inside the soft plastic that you put the little bead in, and they run like horizontal towards the tail.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, it's some interesting stuff, man.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's a place where they get showcased.
It's funny. I went non-live scope. You went live scope.
Well, it was just the one thing that stuck out. Like, if I really want to get into the baits, like I'm a big glide bait guy, so these were 2 that I picked up at the Classic. So this is the Clutch Boss, the same glide bait that Polinick used on Okeechobee. When he caught that 34 pounds. It's just a different color. And then this KGB, it's like a miniature shad.
I got that.
Yeah,
I bought 2. Dude. I bought 4 of them at last year's Classic.
I got 2 of those in Massachusetts when we were up there.
Yeah, these are real dirty.
Yeah,
it's like maybe barely 2 ounces.
Stacy's.
Do you know a guy by do you know Golden Belt?
I have a lot of his stuff.
Okay, Mike's a pretty cool dude, man.
He's friends of ours.
Actually, just on the phone with him today, and he just bought a set of batteries today from us. So.
Oh heck yeah!
Yeah, Mike's
a good guy.
Yeah.
So how many swim baits do you get per battery?
We should figure that out.
I should have went that direction, Kurt. I mean, but I have a couple of Mike swim baits, and I guess I need to talk to Kyler sometime about how to throw swim baits, because I'm not that good at it. But I could get some pointers from you sometime privately.
Oh yeah. We can get out on the water. We can do whatever. I can show you. I actually have a custom-made glide bait rod made by Brandon Palmer, Little Miami Outfitters. It's like an inshore blank.
Yeah.
So it's rated really like almost up to 6 ounces.
Yeah.
But it's phenomenal rod.
Are you in Ohio?
I'm in central Kentucky, Louisville.
Okay. Well, that's even better. I'll come down there and see you.
Yeah. We'll go out to Cedar Creek Lake.
There you go, man.
Catching giants.
Yeah.
That'd be the place to throw those big.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that's
one cool thing about the Classic that I kind of remember was, I don't know if everybody knows this, but they do a little side tournament with the pro-am, with the celebrity tournament. And so Shaun and me went to the meet and greet at Cavender's. And that was pretty cool. I mean, you're talking to guys like Billy Strings and Ben Cleveland from the Ravens and the Diesel Boys from Utah. And it was a pretty cool deal. And I don't know if a lot of people know all about that,
It was really brought it to life.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then we actually went out and watched the weigh-in and all that stuff. And you got to interact with all those guys and meet them. And it was just a pretty cool deal.
Yeah, I got to meet Deion Sanders on day 3. That was pretty cool. I was
looking for Deion. I never got to see him. So
full access to everybody. So
yeah.
He walked right by our booth.
I never even saw him.
He walked
one of the things. So this is my second Classic that I've worked as a employee of a retailer.
Sure.
Is once you start getting around the pros and you start talking to them, you lose that kind of starstruckness. That's a pro,
Yep.
They're just people.
They're like us.
This is the second.
Just like us.
Yeah. Just like us. And so
most
Mark
of those
Menendez
guys are just normal dudes, man.
Yeah. I like having
really good.
Mark Menendez was like a great guy to talk to. I talked to him for like an hour and a half.
Oh, yeah.
Did y'all see James Watson walking around with his backpack? He looked like he was
in our booth, and he stayed at our Airbnb.
Yeah, he stayed.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, James Watson is a good friend of ours, and I've stayed with James on his home lake at Table Rock. I've been at his house for 10 days at one time. So James is a cool dude to hang out with, and he's as normal as they come.
He's super nice.
Yeah. James is awesome. He was actually there on our account with our batteries, but he had some other things he was doing as well. Kurt, I'm like you. I like talking with my hands.
Yeah.
So. I'm like,
people who are listening, we're all talking with our hands. When
I know, but no, like James Watson. And then we got to come back here to Lake Martin, and we spent a few days on the boat with Greg Vincent. And we caught a whole bunch of Lake Martin spotted bass. I mean, tons of Lake Martin spotted bass, and
tons of them.
Just to spend some time in a boat with a guy like that and watching him use his live scope and how he, and it was pretty incredible. I mean, I know I have a lot of buddies that would pay a lot of money to do that. So I'm very blessed and fortunate to be able to do that sometimes, but like you said, Kyler, it's most of these guys, once you get to know them, you get the starstruckness kind of goes away, and they're just normal guys. Like once you get to mingle around with them a little bit, and they're very approachable, and you can talk to them, ask them questions, and that's what the Classic entails. All of it, I think, is just the whole camaraderie of everybody, and everybody's approachable,
Somebody will be in our booth. We had several pros in our booth, and
including Kevin Van Dam.
And they come in there, and people just stand on the outside, and they're like looking in, like, and I'm like, come here,
come on,
get in here, and let's get a picture. Let's get, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because people are scared to do it.
A little gun shy because they've been looking up to them, watching them on TV.
Yeah, just like I was 30 years ago. I mean, I'm like, whoa, there's so and so. I'm like, whoa, man, I would love to talk to him. And it's pretty cool.
I will say this is like, while I'm not as starstruck, I still have like a tremendous amount of respect for those guys. Yeah, and anybody who is still starstruck about those people, like that's perfectly okay, because if those are your role models, then you have great role models, great people that you're looking up to.
Yeah. Well, when you spend a few days in a boat with one of them, and you think you can roll with the baitcaster real good, and I think I can, well, then after watching them guys, it's insane. It's incredible what they can do.
Amateur.
It's incredible. I mean, because it's just every day they're doing it, and
there's no way. I'm
6 months out of the year if I'm lucky in Ohio, so, but it's yeah, they're special people for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny when you cast towards a dock and you get snagged, and you got to hand Greg Vincent your fishing pole to get it unsnagged for you. You know what I mean? I mean, how cool is that?
And Sean's going, I'm sorry, Greg. I'm sorry.
Dang it, I'm sorry.
But we had so much fun.
Yeah, we laughed a lot.
Yeah.
We had a blast.
So I mean, it really sounds like the Classic is like a family event. Even
it is
definitely
bring the kids to meet the pros.
Yeah.
Get signatures,
get pictures, signatures. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not, and that doesn't happen everywhere. I know you guys are about to do the Red Crest.
Yeah.
And what's it like comparing it to the Red Crest?
So Red Crest was huge last year on Lay Lake. It was a monster show. It's quite a bit smaller here in Huntsville this year. I'm curious to see the amount of traffic we get, but Red Crest has been good for us. I mean, and it's the same kind of venue. You know what I'm saying? The Expo is pretty much the same. All the pros are there, the ones that aren't fishing in and out, and it's pretty much the same kind of vibe.
Yeah, we're the presenting sponsor of Red Crest.
Yeah, we're lucky enough to be the presenting sponsor this year, Miller Tech.
That's awesome.
A great reason to go down to Red Crest.
Come on down. Tyler, you're not that far away.
That's true. I've never been to a Red Crest. I've got work and I'm fishing Kentucky Lake this weekend, so I can't make it down. I've got a tournament on Kentucky Lake, so it's getting a lot of rain and it's going to be a good pre-spawn bite. So
there you go.
I'm looking forward to that. So
yes, cool.
I'm kind of curious though about Red Crest. Do you think that there's still a lot of we all know that the divide between bass and MLF is pretty popular the last few years?
Yeah.
Do you still feel that kind of aura at Red Crest versus bass?
A little bit, but here's my thing. I'm curious to see, with this being a smaller venue this year, not as many booth spaces. I wonder kind of what's going on in the back of my mind. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what will happen or what other people's responses will be after the fact.
Yeah.
Because we are, Sean, I'm not sure if we're half of last year here. Are we?
No,
barely.
When you say half, do you mean like the number of booths?
Expo space and size.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Last year on Lay Lake, it was a huge expo and we had a great show.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a tremendous show down there, but this is just one building.
Columbus Fishing Show size, I would say.
A little bit bigger than that, but not I'm curious to kind of see what's going on here, right?
Right. Well, see, last year in Tulsa, that wasn't a very big, you had a lot of people there, or a lot of booths there, but the attendance wasn't like it was this year in Fort Worth.
Yeah.
So
they even
kind of flip-flop.
They even said the attendance at Fort Worth they thought was down a little bit. Of course, we're right in the mecca of bass fishing there, so. But it was also in downtown where you had to spend $50 just to park your car. So
I mean, that makes it hard.
That makes it hard for a family to come out and do that, depending on what's going on, So.
Yeah, I was just about to say, it's like if you go, it's like a cheap thing to do with the family. You can bring 3 kids, your wife, you can have 6 people there, and it's not $1 million. But
right, and the entries are free into these events,
You can get in for free.
You don't have to pay to watch the weigh-in, and you don't have to pay to get into the expo at all. And Red Crest the same way.
But they had from the expo to the weigh-in, they had buses that went back and forth. Yeah. So you could get on a bus and go watch the weigh-in for free, the shuttle service. So
because it was at a different facility this year.
It was at the Fort Worth Convention Center, and then the weigh-ins were at Dickies Arena.
We actually didn't even go. Kyler, did you happen to go?
No, I couldn't. I didn't leave the booth all day.
I was curious.
I pretty much worked.
I haven't talked to anybody that went to the weigh-in to see what the amount of people would showed up there, but so I haven't talked to anybody that actually went to the weigh-ins.
From what I heard is day 1 and day 2 were pretty full, but day 3 after certain people weighed in, you had certain fans kind of start to leave, and I
Exit.
don't know if that was like they were trying to beat traffic getting out or what,
Sure.
but the angle in which they had East and Fothergill, at it looked like there weren't a whole lot of people, but the angle that they had, that little area, it was kind of like behind everything, so there weren't going to be a whole lot of people there anyway.
Yeah.
So everyone else was like here, and he was facing those guys, or facing the fans, but
Right.
behind him, it looked like it wasn't as full, and it was kind of deceptive during the weigh-in. So
I did see that. I know what you're talking about, because that's what I was curious
We
about.
questioned that.
Yeah, I was like, man.
We were like, man, did anybody go? Because
I heard the numbers were down for the weigh-in.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it was because it was like a couple of miles away, and if I were to critique that, like have the expo right next to the weigh-in, so people could easily walk in.
Like last year, we could just walk right over.
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Have everything in one area.
I think last year we could actually go inside and go right from the inside, I believe, last year.
Gene and I are on a 3-week adventure. So like we've been together for going on 3 weeks here, and we've
Dean,
just
I'm
been
sorry.
I'm telling you,
we've been
can somebody
we've been
rescue me?
so much fun.
No, we've had a ball.
No, we got to fish all last week, every day last week, and we got, you know what I'm saying? So
that's awesome, man. Getting a week in between to go fishing at some.
I got to spend a half a day in Texas with Jonathan Kelly on his boat, and we caught one fish, a 1 4-pounder, on Lake Worth, which I called it Lake Worthless, but no, it was a small lake, and he just wanted to try his boat. But anyway, I got to do that, and then of course Shaun and me with Greg this week. So yeah, all this is, and talking about how these classics and Red Crest and everything is, they're family oriented, I think. Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went down to the stockyards and watched the
cattle
thing where the Longhorns walked down the street. That was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't get to do that. I was like Friday night. We went out to dinner with Daiwa. Saturday night, I think we went out to a barbecue place like Terry Black's Barbecue, which was phenomenal barbecue.
In the world.
Best barbecue.
Oh my God, it was so good. I went there.
Did you get one of those big giant ribs?
Yeah, we got like a big plate where like one of those 5-pound family things.
Yeah.
And, oh my.
Terry Black's is the best barbecue I think I've ever had.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I will tell you one more thing that we got to do. David Dudley takes us out to a steakhouse for dinner one night. So, I mean, that was like, I had the best steak I think I've ever had. So
which steakhouse did you go to?
D&B.
D&B, okay. We went to the Riata, I think, Friday night.
Went to D&B, and we're looking at the menu, and it said butcher's butt or something. Anyway, David asked the waitress what this is, and she goes, well, that's top cap. I don't know if you guys know what top cap is off a steak. That's the best piece of the meat on a steak. So David and me got top cap, four big circles of top cap. It was like butter, just the way it said. It was great. And David picked up the bill. So there you go, man. It was, I mean,
thank you, Dudley.
what more do you want? Dudley's a good friend of ours. So he did that for us one night. So we had a good time. Yeah.
So now we owe him dinner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he's a sushi guy. Yeah.
But we had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We definitely had a lot of
Kurt, he wanted Shaun to go eat sushi with him. How about that?
No way.
You don't like sushi?
Dude,
I'll sub in for you.
I got so sick on sushi. I will never have it again, dude.
Yeah.
I'll never get sick of sushi. I can eat that all day long.
Oh my God.
I do love some sushi.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I think a lot of people miss out on, like if you're an angler or if you're looking if you can't make it to ICAST or something like that, and you guys can probably, Shaun, you guys can probably talk a little bit to this, is the networking that happens during the Classic between other anglers and businesses and stuff like that. I think that's
let's add to that a little bit, because ICAST is a little different. You just can't go to ICAST.
No.
Right?
I mean, you have to be like a media guy.
And you got to pay for that. It's not free to go to ICAST. So the Red Crest, the Classic, if you're an angler that's trying to get some exposure or just learn the business, there's no better place to go than these two events to see manufacturers, to see how the pros operate.
Yeah.
Right. Because I mean, if you're not a pro, you really don't know how they operate until you see one in action, and see what they do and what's required of them.
Yeah.
It is insane how a pro operates.
And it's just a great way to meet people in the industry that is harder at ICAST because you have to have an in with someone. Right?
You do.
At ICAST.
Yeah. One thing I will say about being a pro, you will find out real fast how much of a pro you want to be once you go start doing it, right?
Yeah,
that's so true, man.
Driver.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Become a professional truck driver.
Yeah, there's a lot of things different. Yeah. Dean's professional truck driver.
Yeah.
It's so different being a pro fisherman or a pro athlete than it is like any other job. Right?
Like what
Especially
we do.
The pro fisherman.
Yeah.
Because you got how many other jobs besides yours, Dean, do you drive that many miles?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And you're
the driving part wouldn't be the problem for me. It's the 15-hour days on the water and getting up at 5 the next morning and doing it again for 3 days of practice and then 4 days of a tournament. I mean,
I could do that.
That's not easy. Just think about when we do 2-day events or whatever, right? Kyler, you're exhausted at the end of them, right?
Because like go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, it's like because even with kayak guys with this 2-day events, like most of the guys are there, they get there Tuesday, and you're fishing hard for 3 days before that event starts.
Absolutely.
And that was even before motors even became legal in our tournaments. Like everybody can attest to here, your legs were jello by the time tournament time came. And when I get home, dude, I crash hard. Like I got to take that next day off. Yeah. But I can do it.
It's physically demanding to do that.
I think a lot of times during those situations, we're running on adrenaline, and when it's over, it's just like you're done. You're just done. You're done.
Yeah.
People just they say, "Oh, I can be a professional fisherman. I can get on the road and travel from coast to coast once."
Yeah, it's not easy.
And fish hard in between. I guarantee you're going to be like, well, maybe that, FedEx job or UPS job don't look so bad.
Well,
and right there is why you see people cycle in and cycle out of it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
They may have the skills to compete, but it's the time away from family.
And when they realize what it entails, because I'm sure there's, like you just said, Kurt, there's people that have come in and they're like, oh my gosh, this is not what I want to do. And cycled out, but because it's not easy.
There's a group of ESPN. Yeah. There's a group of ESPN guys and so forth that like to say that fishing is not a sport, right? Well, if this was a sport, somebody else would take your boat to the next lake and you would, fly to it, like basketball players or baseball players.
And some people do that.
Scott Martin's right. He's notorious for flying places and having a driver.
Right.
But that he's way less than 1% of the people.
Yeah, right.
Everyone else is driving themselves.
I mean, you can see
maybe they have their social media guy or someone who works in in some way with them help drive them, but they're in the vehicle.
Yeah.
When you look at these schedules, man, they'll have one in Tennessee. They'll have one in Colorado, or Arizona or California, and then back in Tennessee. Man, that's
crazy.
Like as soon as you get done, you got to hop back in the car and hit that road.
Yeah, and you're done.
Yeah. Well, it's to me, I've been doing this for 8 years now, kind of traveling the national trail, especially with the Hobie stuff, and I always have a bone to pick with those people that say that fishing's not a real sport, because it's not only every tournament you have to show up and just fish. You have to be competitive, and that means you have to be on your A game every single day, every single hour of those 2 days or 3 days or 4 days of fishing, and that's after your practice, and And then once you get off the water, it's re-rigging. You got to think about dinner. You got to take a shower. You got to get everything ready. If you don't have a team, like people like kayak anglers, we don't really have a team where it's like people travel with us. We're by ourselves. So we're our own camera people. We're rigging our own stuff. We have to cook our own food. We have to do all this other stuff. And it's like constant. Then wake up at 3 a.m, travel to wherever you're going to get to the boat ramp. It's just constant. And so
it's a hard thing, man.
It is.
It is a hard thing, but
it's fun.
Something about I really like about it, though, man. And it may sound bad, and it may sound, what is that like when you want to hurt yourself over and over again.
You're a bad person.
Yeah, I'm a bad person. There's something I really kind of like about that. It's how hard that it is to do.
It gets in here, right? It gets in here and it takes over, and it's addicting. Like spending time with people, talking to people, fishing, being out on the water, doing the things, and it's amazing. I mean,
the friends I have made in this fishing world, I just met Kyler right now, so I'm sure Kyler and me will speak in the future. So this is what it's all about. And I have met some of the best people and made the greatest friends out here in the last 10 years. And it's incredible. And like you said, Kurt, when you fail, you just want to get back at it and you just want to keep pounding, and if you fail, you just want to work harder on the next one.
Yeah. It really does.
It does. It's addictive.
And at the Classic, there was a lot of, high ups for, different companies and stuff like that. So you got a lot of networking that way, and you got to talk with a lot of people and work out, different, different problems. Like if you're using a product and you're having an issue or something, you can talk to them and say, hey, I'm having this issue. Who should I contact? You're getting it straight from them, not, you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not just some slump working a booth. You're actually talking to the person who's answering the phone or who's in charge of that department. I mean, there's a lot, like you said, there's a lot of upper echelon.
Right.
Right. One of the things, so I've always geeked out over megabass stuff. Like I'm a bait junkie. I'm just a tackle junkie. Like I love rods. I love whatever. And getting to meet like the head of sales for megabass and
hoarder.
Huh?
He's a hoarder.
Oh, I've got totes of soft plastics right now, and it's insane. It's insane how much tackle I have right now.
Yeah, and I've probably got 500 chatterbaits.
And he's not joking.
I'm not joking.
Yep.
I'm a chatterbait junkie. But go ahead.
I started making my own. No, you're fine. I started making my own chatterbaits.
Yeah.
But I kind of lost track of where I was going with this.
Well, you were talking about.
I got to meet like the big guys at Mega Bass, the big guys at Daiwa. Like last year at Tulsa, I geeked out because the president of Daiwa, like from Japan, came all the way to Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and we got to take a big group picture. He had a big posse with him, and it was just so cool to see that. You'll never see that anywhere else.
No. Absolutely not.
And really in a lot of sports, you won't see the president of somebody come in and just walk around to see what things are like. No.
Well,
it just doesn't happen.
Nobody's approachable like in bass fishing and other sports.
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah, you're not going to meet the CEO of
NASCAR or whatever.
Some NASCAR team or basketball team or baseball team.
They'll be there, but they'll be in their own
private. They'll be up here in their own thing.
Don't talk to me. Hi-ya!
Exactly. Like you can't get to them; they're not approachable.
Yeah.
This is one of the few industries that you have these anglers have these opportunities, and I feel like, and myself included, that I don't take enough advantage of those opportunities.
Well,
because they're free too. This isn't something that costs you money.
Yeah. Well, and everything is time too. Before you know it, the weekend's over, and you're like, "Man, I was going to talk to this guy and that guy," and then it's like over.
Well, Kurt, you've always got a place with us.
I appreciate that, man. I really appreciate that a lot.
Well, the Classic's in Knoxville next year, Kurt. So
Yep.
You should be making some plans. You should be down there. Like it's.
Yep.
You notice I
It
pointed my
really is
finger
a
at you?
phenomenal thing.
I like the Knoxville area too, man.
Yeah.
I really do. That's a super nice area.
I was at Knoxville when Octifo won.
Oh,
I was there.
That was crazy.
Oh, it was nuts, man. I was there for that one. Yep. I wasn't working wasn't working shows or anything back then, but I was at the Classic that time, and a good time.
So I'm kind of like, I'm the guy that likes to pick out, the Airbnbs and everything. So like we always get like palaces. It's pretty nice. We get some really good places.
We got great place to stay.
I mean, it's top of the line.
You're like the opposite of me. Every time I pick a place, it ends up being the biggest rat hole, man. No matter what I do, it just backfires on me like crazy. I refuse to pick places now. People are like, well, you want to have input on this? I'm like, no. I don't even want to talk about it because I'll just tell you, I'll push us in the wrong direction and we'll be a rat hole.
Right. Kurt, I'm the same way because I have a rooftop tent on top of my truck. So if I will, I'll just sleep out of my truck. Like I have no problem doing that. So the cheaper for me, the better, because then I can save that money for the next tournament or the next adventure.
Yep.
That's right. Everything costs a lot of money these days anymore, it seems like.
Ooh, God, man.
Isn't that a true statement, right?
I'm not joking, man.
That's crazy.
I'm excited for next year being, the Classic 1 week and then the very next week, Red Crest.
Oh, where is Red Crest next year?
I don't know yet. It's going to be released this weekend. So,
wow.
Do y'all want to take any bets on where it's going to be?
Well, it has to be close because you're not going to get the whole convention moved over to the next one in a week if it's too far away. So
maybe the same facility.
No, I'll say Lake Hartwell. I'll say Lake Hartwell. Yeah, I'll say Hartwell.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, that could be it.
Man.
That could be definitely it right there.
I would love it. Because in Knoxville, honestly, and if they both went to Knoxville, there's so many lakes that are close enough that are world class. They could pick two different lakes.
They could do that.
Yeah.
Cherokee
down there within an hour, right?
Right.
They don't have to be right at the Expo. How far away were they from the Expo where they fished this year?
An hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here, I think they're like 40 minutes away here. Gunnersville's like 40 minutes south. So it's not too far.
And Texas Department of Wildlife was there doing live well tests on the water and the health of the fish and stuff. So, man, I wish Ohio was as proactive. That's for sure.
Ohio could go a very long ways with.
Ohio's in bad shape.
Ohio's in bad shape.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of states.
Ohio's inland lakes, man. They're not taking care of them on the bass side.
They don't care about bass, man.
No,
they haven't done a bass stocking in like 2 decades.
No,
they do trout. They love trout
and muskie,
Saugeye and muskie.
Yep, saugeye and
muskie.
Walleye
and perch.
Yep. We don't even see that down here. All we see down here is catfish in Southwest Ohio.
Yep.
Catfish, saugeye, and Caesars Creek will get some muskie.
Yeah,
that is it, man. I'm like, man, could you guys? How about some brush piles?
Yeah,
brush piles, man. I would just be happy with some brush piles in some of the lakes. That would make them better. I mean, just something because we have. I think Ohio had. If there was a small amount of attention paid to improving stuff,
it's really disheartening that aspect of it. So, I don't want to get all negative and everything about stuff, but man, Ohio needs to wake up.
Yeah,
Kentucky's not that far away, boys.
Are you serious?
I think Kentucky's doing a way better job than Ohio.
No. I meant like it's travel wise. I meant travel wise. It's not that far away. Yeah. Y'all can come down anytime.
Yeah.
No, there's a lot of sleeper lakes in Kentucky that people just don't know about. Like, there's most of our double digits have come out of eastern Kentucky, out of those highland reservoirs where they stock a lot of trout in, and not a lot of people fish them.
Yeah.
I think there was like a 11-pounder caught out there past Pikeville.
Wow.
So many small lakes in Kentucky, man.
Yeah.
Not to mention some big lakes, but so
Well,
many small.
Here's the deal, Kyler. I'll be getting a hold of you later on.
It's hard. It's hard for me to leave Lake Erie. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Lake Erie's a juggernaut. So,
but it's so much fun going to new areas and fishing different water. I love that. So much fun. Yeah.
I'm with you, Dean. That's like something that I've become addicted to.
I know. I love doing that, and that is why actually I'm turning my tournament schedule back a little bit this year because I want to do some of those things. I mean, I've tournament fished for 30 years, and at home I got nothing to prove. So I'm gonna go do some fun stuff.
Cracking new lakes and just seeing new lakes is always fun, man. Figuring out the code, figuring out a new pattern because let's face it, different lakes fish differently, and when you go to different parts of the country, it's that much different than where you live. It becomes exponentially different in variety.
It does.
Because I got lures that I only use at certain lakes.
Oh, absolutely.
I literally have bags that one will say like Gunnersville on it, man. And I just keep certain lures there that I won't use hardly anywhere else. But
if I'm going to travel somewhere, I want it to be good fishing. I don't want to go somewhere where it's, one or two fish or something. It's got to be good fishing.
Shaun gets bored real quick when you don't catch fish.
I am bored.
See,
you can't always.
I'm the opposite.
Fish, though.
I love to fish. I don't care.
Lake.
I'll be out there all day with two fish.
See, I'm the complete opposite of Shaun. Like, if I'm going somewhere, this is why I loved kayak fishing so much and how Hobie spread it out a little bit and Bassmaster is I like going to places and having to figure it out. Yeah. It makes my brain work and stay fresh. Like I'm going up to Champlain this year and it'll be the second time going up there. And I've got a bone to pick with that lake because the guy who won the Hobie event on Champlain, me and him were the only ones at the boat ramp that we were at, but he had, I'll say this now, he had more balls than I did going out in that wind in his paddle kayak and caught smallmouth. Like it's just, it was an insane, it was insane. Like
for the winds, that guy would have had a little bit more people with him out there.
Oh, I would have been robbed. I knew exactly.
Be a popular ramp, and then Champlain runs. For people who don't know, it's a long lake that runs north and south, and it's notorious to get north and south winds.
Oh, absolutely!
And it gets crazy on that lake when it does that.
I think it'll be different this year with Bassmaster though, because they don't have a restriction on which side of the lake that you can fish. So the Hobie event was New York side only. You couldn't launch on the Vermont side and fish like the inland sea. But now with the Bassmaster, you're going to be able to fish like and put in like Burlington, Vermont, or places like that.
That's going to change things a lot.
Yeah, it is, and it'll be safer for people in kayaks because you had a few guys that tried to cross Champlain during that event, and it's just like
they did. A lot of the top 10 did.
A lot of the top 10 did.
The one thing at Bassmaster that I was really kind of disturbed about is I only seen a few kayaks. I didn't see that many kayaks
at the expo.
Yeah, at the expo.
Yeah, I think what Old Town.
And there was a couple other, but I mean, I didn't see there wasn't like a big push like there was in years past.
Like from the company,
well,
displaying kayaks there.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
I don't know.
Well, it ain't cheap getting a booth.
No,
it's not cheap getting a booth. Like we had a 10x40, and when I found out the price of what it cost, I was kind of taken aback of how much it cost to get a booth at the Classic.
It's a lot.
And I think that, I think that has a little bit to do with that. Like I saw Hobie Eyewear there. Who else was there? Was it Old Town was there? I think Old Town might have been there, but that was because they're Johnson Outdoors.
Johnson Outdoors was there.
Yeah. So like outside of that, you didn't see like Yak Attack wasn't there.
I seen Hoover.
Trailblazer.
I seen Hoover there, Gene there. I didn't really
talked
see
to
them.
Ewing.
Christine Fisher was there. But I didn't really see a lot of people. Like in years
Well, a
past.
lot of them were hanging around the Hobie eyewear booth. Like
Jody Queen and
Jody
Abby
Queen
in our booth. They were in the Militech booth quite a bit. But I mean, I didn't see, that many, kayakers like I did before, I didn't see Bonafide there. I didn't see Wilderness there. I didn't see Hobie there. I didn't see, companies there. And it was kind of like, wow, that's.
Well, the outdoor industry, I mean, it's no secret right now that sales aren't exactly where the whole industry would like them to be.
Right.
It may, that may have something to do with it because, like you guys are saying, it's expensive to be there. It's a commitment. It's a massive commitment.
It is.
Right. But with them being, with the Bassmaster kayak group and everything, that's why I'm saying it surprised me. I could see them not coming to Red Crest. I could see them not coming to some of the other events, but you know what I'm saying? I mean,
I'm
we're
surprised
talking about,
to hear you say that, honestly.
I
I didn't go this year, and I just assumed that all those companies were there. I assumed that basically all the big guys were there.
Well, there were only 3.
I didn't even see Yak Gadget there.
Yeah, no.
And I would have thought I would have seen him there because he went to everything.
Yeah, he's a show machine.
Yeah,
he works every show. Well, hopefully next year they'll kind of regroup.
Yeah.
See, because it's like a double-edged sword when you don't go to these shows. You don't get the exposure then, right?
Right.
And I feel like those shows are crossover shows, so they're like even better to go to because you're getting exposed to people that you may not ever get exposed to because they're outside the world of kayak fishing, but they may be interested in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You're seeing all these different people, and people don't know what they don't know. So if they're not exposed to kayaking, they don't know about it.
I mean, at Red Crest where we're at now, Vexus Boats isn't there. Like, why isn't Vexus there? I mean,
Vexus won't be here.
But do they have is there a lot of Vexus pros on the pro circuit? Like, because that could be a thing too.
I don't know if there is or not.
I don't know about that.
I haven't really paid attention boat wise, but
I don't think there actually is really.
But it's just weird, like it's almost like the environment's changing or something.
It is. I mean, it's tough right now. It's tough for every outdoor industry right now. I think a lot of the boat manufacturers are feeling it too. I mean, I think everybody's having to make some decisions.
Well, I got to take a stab as a kayak guy. I got to take a stab at the boat manufacturers because I did walk by the Icon booth and they had a sign that said starting at $99,000. It's like,
starting at
that's a little outrageous. Yeah,
that's a little crazy.
Yeah. And so as a kayak guy,
I said, wow.
Like even aluminum boats are getting up to the 60,000 mark, which is fine. Like they're great aluminum boats, and I'm not dogging on people who like boats versus kayak, but like if you purely want to get out on the water for fishing, you can get a motor, you can get as many graphs as you want on either a Bonafide or a Hobie or a new canoe, and you can still be under that. I would say under that $12,000 mark.
Right.
And have a fantastic setup.
Yeah.
And travel and fish a lot cheaper than you can out of a bass boat. And a lot less maintenance. So I
mean, it is different. It's a totally different deal, but
it is different.
It makes kayaking look extremely affordable.
Yeah, it does.
I've got a $6,000 boat. And it just happens to have $16,000 worth of electronics on it. But, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I got a cheater box.
Yeah. If money was no object, I'd have $100,000 boat.
Oh, 100%. I would too. I already know which one I'd pick out. I'm a big Skeeter guy.
I'm a big nitro guy, so that's why I got a 22 nitro.
There you go.
But yeah,
there's just something about that OD green Skeeter FXR 20 with a 250 show on. Just
I know.
Gets you all giddy. Yeah.
So,
it is.
Did Bassmaster put a limit on the horsepower?
250.
250s.
Yeah, 250.
250s.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
from what
motors you're seeing out there, those guys can't run them.
Yeah, no, not on the Elite Series, no, or the Opens, I don't think. But like, from what I've heard, and this is just rumors, like the difference between the 250 and the 300Rs is a chip. From what I've heard, it's a chip, but I could be totally wrong. So if somebody knows, please correct me. That's just what I've heard.
I talked to the Mercury guy about a 150 today, and he told me that the Pro XS is a 4-cylinder and the 150R is a V6. So you have more displacement that way, but
right.
That's what the difference is there. But man, there's something about that 300R that just makes you smile.
On the they had a 400, didn't they, on the Bass Cat Ira?
Yeah.
Was it the Ira? A 400. Oh, dude, it's insane.
Like how fast is that, right? So a 400, like when you put that on the right boat, how fast is that gonna be?
Well, that's probably a 90-mile-an-hour boat.
Yeah,
or something.
90
something.
90 to 100 depends on how loaded down you are.
Yeah,
that's scary, dude.
And it will kill you if you wreck.
Yeah, that's a dangerous boat.
You will die
90 miles
if you
an
wreck.
hour is scary on the water.
Yeah, there's no brakes. There's no brakes.
There's no brake. I mean, can you even hardly turn at 90?
Oh God, I would never turn at 90.
No.
90.
I've never went 90, but I wouldn't be turning.
I mean,
no, be a straight arrow, straight line. You know.
Oh,
no way.
I know every time I go on a motorboat, everyone thinks it's the funniest thing to do to scare me on it and go as fast. And I'll just be like white knuckling it because fast for me is 6 miles an hour. So I hop on a motorboat and they take it up to like 40 miles an hour. I'm just like, oh my God, this is.
I might have to bring my boat down to you, Kurt, or to you, Kyler, and go fishing with you guys and put you in the boat.
Down.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need to come up, Kurt, and let's go fish the river.
Yeah,
Kyler, need to get up here, man.
Go fish. What river?
The Detroit River.
All right, let's go.
That'll be fun, man.
I have like maybe 2 or 3 national events that I'm hitting this year, and that's it. Like I'm fishing Tennessee Bass Nation stuff. I don't really have a whole lot of it. Last year was my most intensive year. I fished all but 2 of the Hobie events. So I fished 5 of the 7. And I think I fished a couple of the bass last year too, like plus the Tennessee Bass Nation and the Bluegrass Kayak Anglers. Like I was fully loaded last year.
I only invited Smitty like 20 times last year. There you go. Right back at you.
Let's go, man. Let's go.
Is everything that you do, Kyler, out of a kayak? You don't do any tournaments out of a boat at all?
No, so my father-in-law has a boat, and so if I'm like his secondary. Sure. So he fishes with his little brother, and so if his little brother doesn't show up, he'll call me or something like, "Hey, do you want to go fish a local event?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." So I get exposure in that. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Definitely different fishing out of the back of a boat than it is fishing out of the kayak.
Oh, absolutely. Because you're the point man when you're in your kayak. You can go wherever you want to go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, Dean, you hit the nail on the head. It is so hard for me to go into someone else's boat.
Oh yeah. I totally understand. It is.
I told you years ago when we fished St. Clair together. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's go. Let's do this.
But he just wants to backboat you so he can whip you.
I tell you what.
You can do it all.
If you want a good TV show idea, do like, you know how you had the shows like pros versus Joes?
Yep.
You can do that with bass, like people out of bass boats and people with kayaks.
Yeah.
And just have them flip flop and have them compete with each other.
I'm actually doing
That's a heck of a show.
That would be really funny.
I'm actually doing that show in Alabama when we come back from ICAST. I'm actually doing that with Brett.
Oh, very nice.
The pro versus Joe. I want to beat him.
Fun, dude. What lake are you doing?
Huh?
Do you know what lake you're going to be on?
No, we're gonna just pick a spot because all he needs is like 6 hours, So, so it'll be chatterbait versus chatterbait. That's what that'll be. Brent Chapman. That's what he does. Chatterbait, just like me. So, I just told him I want to beat him. So he's like, "Well, we're gonna go do it, and we'll see."
I'll have to send you some of my custom made chatterbaits.
There you go, man.
It's definitely not like a jackhammer.
Yeah. Okay.
Don't do it.
I can't wait already.
He's got so many.
I don't know Kyler's last name, but I'll find out.
They're just sitting there in his basement.
No, they're not. Oh no.
Trust me.
No, they're not. And here's the funny thing. This man right here has never caught a fish on a chatterbait. Ever.
Are you serious?
Never has he caught a chatterbait fish.
I fished St. Clair.
Oh no.
I'll tell you,
Detroit River and Lake Erie.
He fishes.
Where am I supposed to fish at?
Fishes a little worm and
in the grass.
Food. That's it. I know.
St. Clair has got grass, right? I've never fished there.
Dude, there's too many.
Take a 3/4 ounce. Take a 3/4 ounce green pumpkin shad chatterbait. Shaun, just listen. A 3/4 ounce jackhammer and just rip it out of the grass. You will never feel a fish that turns and burns harder than that. It's so much fun.
You can catch him on my spinnerbait that way.
He doesn't want to work that hard to catch it.
You fish it a lot like a spinnerbait.
I mean, come on, man.
We're going way off the rails on this one.
Yeah, we have. Well, guys, I want to thank you all for coming on. I'm going to give you guys a chance to thank whoever you want to thank. We have taken up enough of your time this evening. I appreciate it. I know Dean and Shaun have work ahead of them tomorrow. I'll start with you guys, man. Why don't you guys, Dean, why don't you start? Thank whoever you'd like to thank.
Well, first of all, I would like to thank MillerTech for the opportunity that we get. I was fortunate enough to kind of start this little deal that we're on, but it's the whole team. It never happens by one person, and Lester obviously is the hub of all this. So I want to thank my family, especially because I've been gone almost for 3 weeks now, and it'll be a little over 3 weeks when I get back. And Shaun, thanks Shaun, because we have a lot of fun out here.
We have a blast.
So I want to thank Lester, Shaun, my family for letting me do this, and I don't have a wife, so I can't thank my wife, but I do have a son and a grandson and a granddaughter and a daughter-in-law that I want to thank as well. So because they'll see this, and I miss all of them for sure.
We, family, of course, first and foremost. You always got to thank family for everything. I'd like to thank Dean because he's a riot. And I'd like to thank I would like to thank you guys for allowing us to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Kurt, and everybody for having us on.
And if anybody is looking out and wanting batteries from us, now's the time to buy them. Red Crest 2025. You can save up to $700 on a whole set, and you can't beat that right now. So get on the interwebs, get yourself to our site.
What's the website?
MillerTechEnergy.com. And that's good until this coming Sunday. So
at midnight.
And
I'll add one more thing. If some people maybe not realize this about our batteries and our lithium stuff, our 10-year warranty is 100%. 10 years. It's not prorated. So basically the first 10 years is on MillerTech itself. So it's an unbelievable warranty. The best in the industry.
Best batteries on the market.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys.
And we have a great opportunity to be out here and do this, and it's a lot of fun. It's a long time on the road sometimes, but we have a great time.
That's
the
way to do it, man. Have a good time on the road.
You got it.
Kyler?
Well, yeah. First off, I'm going to thank my wife for putting up with me and all the fishing and all the hassle that I put her through, because she has to take care of the 3 dogs that we got when I'm gone, and they're not always the easiest. So I appreciate her for doing that. But honestly, like the past couple of years have been a crazy ride, and it's all thanks to the tackle trap. I met those guys. I actually had been trying to get a hold of them for a few years before I got introduced to those guys to redo their website. So for those that you guys don't know, I rebuild and manage websites for outdoor businesses specifically. Anybody who doesn't know what they're doing and they want to get on the online presence, like I'll help you. I'll walk you through all of that. We'll get you set up with a website. We'll get products up there. I'll set up the SEO, all of that, and you'll be able to sell all your stuff and you not have to worry about it. You can continue making great products or doing whatever you do. And that's kind of what I do. And that's how I fell into the lucky lap with Tackle Trap. And that's expanded out. I also want to thank Megabass. I'm not associated with Megabass specifically, but I use a lot of their stuff and they make great products. So I have to make a shout out to them. The guys that I met at the Classic were phenomenal. Daiwa, I used all Daiwa reels. I used some Daiwa rods. I've tried other stuff in the past, and I keep going back to Daiwa. I can't do anything else. So I appreciate them a lot. So and Strictly Sail, Brian has taken care of me the last 5-6 years. The dude's phenomenal. Anything that I ever needed, it's always fast tracked. If I need it for a tournament, whatever, the dude's always taking care of me. So I appreciate Brian and Steve Tacey up there at Strictly Sail.
Awesome. Well, guys, thank you all for coming on. You guys make the show, and thank everyone for who's listening or watching. Most everyone listens, and we'll see you all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you, Kyler.